Hi there, Libra. Princess India here for your December 2018 general reading. I hope life has been treating you well, Libra. Love your face. So anywho, this is our birthday month here at She Do Tarot. And in honor of that, I have a discount code in the description box below for you guys to use on personal readings. In addition to that, okay, or the cards, they could just fall on the floor. It's no big deal. Like, I don't mind picking them up. But anywho, so on the 22nd of this month, I'm going to do a live reading and I'm going to give free stuff away. So tonight, after I finish you guys, after I get hot wings and watch Unsolved Mysteries, leave me alone. Then I'm going to work on the whole little raffle thing, and I'll have it up on the site, and I'll keep you guys updated on how that'll work on the community tab. So pretty much it's just like a little raffle. You put your name in, and I'm going to pick names at random on the 22nd during the live read. And, give away free stuff, decks and readings and things of the sort. But, like private readings and whatnot. But, yeah, so that's that. So look forward to that. The merch is now available. One of the first designs. The second one, shout out to Giggle Glimmer. Her design will be next. And, the Amazon store is below. And I think that's it. So, anywho, I picked, technically I didn't because they fell. But I was going to pick a card from my favorite deck in the world. But 4 fell out. So that's what we're going to look at. We're going to look at things for Libra to embrace and things to release in December. So leaving things behind in 2018 and the things that you want to take with you into 2019. So, first card, Surrender Negative Thinking. And it says, you have control over your thoughts. When negative thoughts surface, say thank you for sharing. This card is so funny. And quickly refocus on positive affirmations. That's dope. BTW, twitchy face, contacts are old, so my eyes are going to be twitching. Sorry. But I think this card is so funny. Because the fact that it suggests to say, thank you for sharing, and quickly refocus. But that is very important. A lot of times with taking control over our negative thoughts, like, first thing is to notice that we're thinking negative, because a lot of times, like, we'll be totally fine. Something happens, and the next thing we know, we're just in a really bad mood, and you don't know why. But there's usually, like, a trigger in a negative thought reel that ensues. So the thing is to get acquainted with your negative thought reel, and whenever you feel like it's starting to rise up, like it rearing its ugly head, so to speak, it's like putting it in check. So it's more or less like a technique that you learn in mindfulness meditation of learning how to remove yourself from your thoughts. Because before we start practicing that, we're under the misconception that we are our thoughts. So the goal is to be a present observer of your thoughts. So to allow them to rise up, to see them, not to judge them. It's like, okay, that's interesting, which is why they say, thank you for sharing. Moving right along. So anywho, next we have Surrender to Joy. It says a key to positive change in your life is to let joy in and savor it. Indulge in random acts of smiling. Random acts of smiling. During both the hard and easy times, keep surrendering to more joy. That's a great way to combat negative thinking. Next, we have Surrender Resentments. Oh, yeah, this is like the death of you, huh? Not meaning specifically you guys, but I mean people in general. Resentment, it's a silent killer. Holding on to resentments only poisons you. Try to forgive others for their shortcomings and keep moving forward toward positive situations in your life. Absolutely. What is that? One of the Buddha quotes that says, resentment is like drinking poison and waiting for someone else to die, or holding a hot coal in your hand, waiting for someone to throw it at. It's like resentment is one of those, and I'm going to share that with you guys because I have a list of low vibrational emotions and high vibrational emotions. And I'm going to share that with you guys. I'm probably going to put it in like a little thingamajig. So low vibrational emotions are fear, anger, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, loneliness, resentment, inferiority, lies, that's not an emotion, but false pride, superiority, and the nature of the ego, right? High vibrational is joy, peace, love, hope, sharing, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, friendship, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and the belief in faith. So I'm going to put that on a little thing and give it to you guys to have, because this is kind of like how you can use like that black and white schematic to always recheck yourself. So regardless of what you're doing, or even if you want to practice discernment, right? And kind of doing it from the outside in, even though discernment is an internal thing, but this is just helping you to get that framework, is like whenever a person is speaking to you, ask yourself if there's which like bucket of words are they speaking from? Are they speaking from a place of fear, a place of anger, envy, sorrow, regret? Like, what energy force is this coming from? And the more that you start to identify things that are falling in the low vibrational category, that helps you to recheck yourself, because like these are things that are bringing your vibration down. So I'm most certainly going to put this in like a little infographic type of thing for you guys. Anywho, your last card is Surrender to Divine Timing. I read that backwards and I'm very proud of myself. Sometimes divine timing may differ from your ego's timing. If a goal isn't manifesting fast enough according to your ego, be patient and trust the universal flow. That's for those of you that are feeling like you should be somewhere at a certain time in your life, and resentment being rooted in the thought that, such and such is there, but I'm not. How did they get that? You know what I'm saying? And thinking that maybe there's something wrong with you because you're not at a certain place or space at this present time in your life, right? But the key is to celebrate where you are, Each path and journey of our lives is amazingly beautiful in the sense that each and every one of them are unique. That's the beauty in your life, is the fact that you are painting a one-of-a-kind masterpiece that was never intended to look like anyone else's. If that were the case, why would anyone purchase artwork? If every great painter was painting the same picture, what would be the fun in that? You know what I mean? So you aren't supposed to be anything other than that of which you desire, and you are never not, yes, double negative, in the wrong place. Where you are at this very moment is where you're supposed to be. And to get to where it is that you would desire to be sooner is finding joy in the present place that you are at this very moment, right? But the beauty in that is when you're able to find joy in this present moment, you'll no longer desire to be someplace, somewhere out there in the future, somewhere, You'll appreciate exactly where you are. And I think that it has a great deal to do, or is at the basis of your unhappiness. It's the fact of always desiring to be some other place other than where you are now, right? Thinking back to the past of what you did wrong that stopped you from being where you feel you should be. But the only lesson in all of this is ending this December and this year with a different perspective and choosing to relinquish any energies, emotions, thought patterns, behaviors, anything of the sort that fall into that first category, and to recheck yourself anytime you step into that realm, and to start cultivating everything that's in that second category in your life every day, right? First card, deceit and reverse. That is a great place for deceit to be. Next, woman holding the heart. It's cuffing season, dagnabbit. Next, we have rest and rejuvenation. Very interesting. Next, we have the angel of balance. I said that y'all still got that balance going and stuff. Congratulations. Next, we have storm warning. Next, we have cornucopia in reverse. Next, we have happy family. Then we have the angel of love. And then we have broken heart in reverse. So, Libra, my special little freak nasty with them scales and things, you know. I haven't forgotten about what I learned about you. Moving on. But here's the thing. So, the main thing this month, right, is going to be unmasking any illusions, any self-deceptions, right, that of which you are under the influence of from within yourself, right? I don't feel that anything that you guys are going to be dealing with this month has anything to do with other people other than the fact that you are the star of the play of your life. Each and every one of us, myself included, are merely nothing more than co-stars in this play. You know, some of us are, you know, seasonal characters and things of the sort. But this entire whole little shindig is a story of your life. And all of us only play the roles that you will us to play for you to learn an ultimate lesson about yourself, right? So I feel that's what's taking center stage. It's you getting a first-hand glimpse of every storm and tornado and upset and unrest in your life and seeing how each and every one of them have common roots within. How your external world is nothing more than a mirror reflection of your internal world, right? I feel like Libras have been spending a great deal of time being fixated on the life outside of themselves, but never really seeing the connection between the two, you know? Not to say that you're feeding your own demise and orchestrating all of the catastrophes in your life consciously, right? But needing to take a different perspective on one's life, right? So that one can see the interweaving or interconnectedness of my mental space, my self-perception, and how that's manifesting in my life every day, right? So the key is here, and this is something that's come up in all of the readings, even though this is general, a lot of this has to do with love. I have no problem with that, and the fact that I believe wholeheartedly that relationships are the most ideal grounds or playing field, right? To be sandpaper, to help mold us and help us grow, right? It's the easiest way for you to see yourself. But the thing that I'm seeing, which is very much interlined with what I saw for your previous readings, the 2 readings that we did for you in November, which is you guys cultivating a state of balance within, that of which you have, right? Having a foundation. Some of you, because this is the same little, I said some of you were going to meet someone that like had a kid. So I feel like for some of you that happened, some of you met someone, some of you started to move in the direction to cultivate balance in your family. Some of you started to confront issues that caused imbalance in your life for a very long time that are intricately related to family, right? So in that facet, you've mastered, right? So you've come out of a place of deception in that arena of how your family of origin or thought processes or perceptions or belief systems, anything of the sort that was causing unrest in your life. I feel like you guys see that connection, right? I feel like the next challenge that you guys are dealing with presently, and it's more or less in your romantic lives of wondering why things may not work out, or if people have accused you of not being emotionally available, or not opening up enough, not letting a person in, right? I feel like the challenge now is you seeing how you're desiring to give your heart to someone, you're desiring to be in love, you're desiring to open up, but not quite understanding why all love relationships turn out so catastrophic, right? So now the next lesson that's being learned is how your love relationships are intricately related to your self-concept, to your level of self-love, right? So it's more or less a mirror effect between you and the people that you're encountering. So there's a little bit like being two sides of the same coin in a sense, right? So the thing that's causing certain things to not work out, right? So say hypothetically, if it's a fear of rejection that one has, and this is where what you've mastered in relation to your foundational wounds or family of origin wounds, this is how certain lessons we master become building blocks on this journey that we're on. So what you guys have mastered in relation to your family of origin and found balance with can now become a schematic that we're going to apply to another facet that we're learning about ourselves, right? So with my self-love, or my level of self-respect, self-worth, self-esteem, so on and so forth, this is also intricately related to this thing that we've just mastered, which is any wounds or any things that were holding me back and causing imbalance in my life in reference to my family of origin. So now it's time to kind of dig deep and look and see, well, based on what it is that I've mastered and seeing how that's affected me here, how did that affect my self-concept, right? Is it that I fear rejection? So I don't open up. I don't allow people close, even though I desire love. That's what I really want. But it's like somehow things are always turning out chaotic, right? So we could say that it's everyone else that's the problem. We could totally do that, you know? But that would not really be of service to us. So we're going to do some self-reflection. And we're going to see how what we're feeling now, how similar that may feel to something that we may have felt sometime in the past before, right? So if we stick with the whole theme of like rejection, it's like, you know, I was rejected before, and this, of course, is not your literal conscious thought process, but let's fast forward it to say that you're doing like this inner digging. And it's like, you know, why am I so afraid to let such and such in? And it's like, because I'm afraid. Why am I afraid of letting them in? Like, what's the worst that could possibly happen, right? And it's like, well, I mean, they could get to know me and find out the really weird things that I Google at 3 a.m., you know, and not like me anymore and, like, tell everyone. So what is that? What is that feeling that I'm feeling? Like, what does it mean if she doesn't want to be with you anymore? It's like, oh, that's rejection. And if she tells everyone when you Google at 3 a.m., what is that? That's shame. Where in my past have I felt things like rejection and shame? What was like the most pivotal time in my life that I felt rejection and I felt shame and I felt really, really small, and I told myself I would never open up to another person again, right? So that's like a cleaned up version of this process. But that's what we're doing now. We're seeing how we perceive ourselves, or the flaws we perceive ourselves to have, and us protecting ourselves from re-experiencing something that wounded us in the past, and how that's affecting us in our love lives, and how we're showing up in love relationships, although we're desiring, like the end goal is to be in love and to have an intimate connection, but Spirit is more or less revealing in what ways we're sabotaging ourselves in that area based on trying to protect ourselves from reliving old wounds, right? Going forward, you guys are also coming out of a time where if your life was very tumultuous and very chaotic, and I feel like that has a lot to do with what you guys have mastered past tense, a lot of that energy is starting to clear up. So if those of you, if you've recently started meditating or starting to pray or anything along the lines of that, like getting more in tune with your spirituality, Spirit wants you to be aware that all of these things are interconnected. So it's you coming out of self-deception and finding balance about your truth. For some of you, this truth where this family card is you admitting to yourself that you actually do want a family, that you actually do want to be married one day, you know, that you don't want to be a bachelor forever or what have you, right? So for some of you, it's that. But it's like coming to the truth about what you really desire, starting this process of healing, looking at this self-reflection, right? And starting to cultivate like a spiritual life, and how you just doing that is starting to shift the energy. So it's almost like where there was chaos and this massive tornado, you know what I'm saying? It's starting to slow down to where the sun is slowly starting to come out, right? But the thing that's so imperative here is when it comes to this self-love that's intricately related to this major, major heartbreak way back when, right? That's where our resentment card is kind of coming in. So I'm feeling this is more or less a romantic relationship, like a person who damaged you on a very deep level, like a person who probably disappointed you in a way that you've probably never been disappointed by another person that you were intimately involved with, right? And this is something that's kind of adding to that fear of opening up in your self-concept. But the thing that's important to note here, and that's why it's like I'm telling you all these positive things of all of the growth that you guys have achieved up to this point, because that's super important, and it's really what you're going to need to hold on to, because the warning here is in alignment with how, even though your intentions are not to hurt when it comes to romantic relationships, there's a vacancy that's rooted in like a feeling of inadequacy that is being misinterpreted by people that you're connecting with romantically. And that's what's causing a lot of the upsets and unrests and arguments and things of the sort, right? But this is more or less a forewarning, right? That you want to stay grounded. You want to continue to do your work. You know what I'm saying? And self-reflection is probably the most vital and the absolute most important in all of this. Because if you kind of throw your hands up, get frustrated, and throw away all of the work that you guys have done to this point, you very well could break your own heart, right? And miss out on your wishes being fulfilled, because I feel like the path you guys are on is a really good one. But this not being dealt with going into January, going into the new year, this not being dealt with and ignoring this can very easily cause these storms that, you know, topple over your little cornucopia and your wishes not being fulfilled and leaving you heartbroken, you know? But the goal is to keep this here, right? It's like we're in a healing process. But in your physical space, it's to more or less, what is it? It's a story. That's a story in the Bible, I think. Yeah, it is a story in the Bible. Where it's like there was this raging storm and they was all in the boat and Jesus was just knocked out sleep in the boat and they're just like, oh, it's a storm. And Jesus like woke up and was like, peace be still, and went back to sleep. This is what Libra needs to do right now. This inner state of balance that you guys have, anytime storms rise up in life, you need to pop up out your sleep and be like, peace be still. You know, you need to decree and declare what is, if you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? It's bringing that inner light outwards in an energetic sense, because you guys are doing it. You're creating balance within. You're being honest with yourself. It's just this is another facet of light that you want to bring that light into, right? And that's what's going to ensure that your cornucopia goes upright. Maintaining your spiritual practices. Keeping your desires, top of mind, your end goals, in reference to your love life or whatever else it is. Maintaining being honest with yourself. Cultivating that balance. But now the challenge is to bring your inner state out, right? Bringing that inner state out. Peace be still. You know what I'm saying? Bringing joy, light, love into every situation. Accepting things as they are. Allowing things to unfold. Not bringing negative energy into a space. Not blame shifting. Not thinking negative. Not expecting the worst case scenario. That inner balance that you've cultivated, it's birthing that into your physical life, right? Very doable. So I'm going to pull an oracle card for you. My sweet, special Libra that I love ever so much. But in due time, everything that you desire will be made manifest in your life. You just got to do your part. Staying balanced and manifesting joy. Is that a whale? Humpback whale. I wish there was a song about that. And this card's about music. That's so funny. Okay. Music is essential to your healing and well-being, whether singing, playing an instrument, or listening. I can say that most certainly. I was feeling some type of way earlier. Because I don't know. Every time I go to the nail shop, it just drains me emotionally. I don't know why. It's like I'm just in there and I'm just like, I feel like my soul is exiting my body. It's like death, right? And I was like feeling some type of way when I left. And I was like, I should listen to Frank Ocean. And I put on Frank Ocean Pink and White and it like made my life. It made me so happy. And I'm probably going to go listen to that now while I go get hot wings and come back and watch Unsolved Mysteries. Because that's so awesome. It's just the little things that make Princess happy. But anywho, yeah, man. And when we talk about vibration and frequency, that's why music is so important. Like, it can literally change your mood. It could bring you into any variation of emotion. So when we think about what it is that you guys want to feel, you may want to make a playlist. Every single song that makes you feel, and I mean, you can make a variation of them. It's like, if you have one that makes you feel happy, one that, makes you feel like ratchet, I don't know. Making a variation of different playlists of music that provoke different emotions. And it's more or less energetically you projecting where it is that you want to be. You know what I mean? So that's an awesome tool. But anywho, my wonderful Libran, that has been your December general reading. I love your face. I will see you guys sooner than later because your love readings are coming up next. But I will see you soon, and I love you dearly. Deuces.